January 25th, we host Amazing Day at Citi Field. Unfortunately, you weren't there. You were still, on the verge of rejoining the team, but is what it is.
Yeah. Thank you, fans. Thank you, fans, for the support. Appreciate that.
So, I was going to ask you, there was a moment where the fans really voiced how they felt about wanting you in the blue and orange.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. How did that make you all feel?
Oh, it's awesome. Like to be here. I mean, obviously, being here, it's like I've had success. I've also failed, but I think over the course of time to be continuously wanted like that from Mets fans, it's just really, really special because I lay it all out there. I work hard and do the best I can every single night. I empty the tank every single day, and whatever happens. But for me, I lay it all out there, and I just want to win, and for them to receive me and want me back like that is really special, for sure.
Welcome to Meet at the Apple. I'm Vito Calisi. That's Jonathan Barron, and we're here with Pete Alonso. And Pete, how many times have you watched the Milwaukee home run?
Quite a few, to be honest. I think my favorite homer though was I think it was the one at Citi Field in Game 5. I think that was my favorite one.
Really? I did not expect to hear that. Why is that?
Just because like having that home field feel, I mean, that environment was electric, and like having the crowd, I mean, that was probably the most electric like home game I've ever been a part of. I mean, obviously elimination game, we're at home, big moment in the game to kind of get everything started. And like for me, that was I mean, obviously not discounting I think my favorite homer was that Dodger homer, but my favorite moment was in Milwaukee. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
Now, do you mind watching it one more time with us and kind of walking us through? We cut out in between the pitches, so just giving us the pitch by pitch. What's going on in your mind?
So I know Devo, he wants to get a double play right here in the game. Bet his best pitch, obviously everyone knows it, it's his changeup. So for me, I'm looking for anything up, out, over, but I'm drawing my line at, if you look at kind of like my belly button. So basically this changeup, this is the one that shows up, and I'm like, okay, if I get this again in this window, this has to be the one. And then he tries to get me to chase up because he knows that, okay, I'm going to get him looking up. He's going to be sitting on changeup, or he thinks it. But I have really, really good takes here because I'm on the heater as well as seeing the window of the changeup. So take upstairs, that's that same window where the changeup pops out. So if you see Willie, he's like, dang, why didn't he swing? So, and then arm side up miss, didn't hit on it. And then he's like, okay, how about a swing and miss pitch right here? Take on it, seeing everything. And you see right there, that moment, I'm like, okay, that's the pitch. That's not the window. He's going to throw his biggest strike pitch, and that's his changeup. There's a window. There was in the first pitch. Boom.
Off the bat. Did you know?
Yes, knew it.
See, we're watching on TV. Frelick's going back, and it was kind of sinking. You couldn't tell. But then I think it was Lange in the bullpen, or Rack. It was Rack.
Yeah.
He starts jumping. You know the bullpen. They have the best angle.
Yes.
Once I saw Rack jumping up and down, euphoria.
Yes. No, I mean, for me, that moment was surreal. That was probably the easiest, the best baseball moment I've ever had.
And then you get on the plane, and we got to see this moment that you had with Howie Rose.
Yes.
That was one of the most special moments I've watched in baseball.
Because for me, like I'm a baseball junkie. Like you watch historic homers, you see those, you hear those calls, those famous home run calls, and then having Howie describe the moment perfectly, put it so elegantly, and just encapsulated all the feelings of that moment in that game. And also I thought what he said at the end of the season too was very moving and special as well. I mean, that call, just instant classic, because there's just moments throughout the baseball history, moments are associated with calls, and like that will forever be tied in baseball history. So that's really special.
Yeah, I mean, Vito and I, we did episodes after each and every game in the postseason, and obviously Game 6 in LA was a tough pill to swallow. But we talked about how, in a way, Howie's words of wisdom. Howie's like our Mets grandpa, you know? Like he's been through a lot, he's seen a lot, he goes way back. His words comforted, I think, all Mets fans, and it's cool to hear that you guys also felt the same way that sounds like we felt.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I think honestly the best team won the World Series last year. There's no doubt. And is that a tough pill swallowing in the moment? Yes, but I think what we built, what we overcame, was just tremendous, and that's been. And for as long as I've been here, like that's been the character, that's been the MO of the clubhouse, like internally. And I'm just happy we were able to do it and conquer some of the challenges that we were able to face. And granted, do we climb the mountain? No, but I think that we're springboarding all that momentum into this year. But granted, we got to go out and do it. But the vibe, the understanding of what we need to do, I think we're really excited. I mean, not just myself, but just the entire group. Everybody is so excited, and we know what it takes to get there.
Well, that Milwaukee home run was the first of many you hit in the postseason. You talked about the homer against Jack Flaherty in Game 5. But you helped the Mets win the NLDS against the Phillies. An amazing night at Citi Field, the first time the Mets clinch. And after the game, cameras picked up a moment between yourself and President of Baseball Operations, David Stearns, and we have it right here. This was, especially during your free agency, pointed to by a lot of Mets fans, a lot of detectives on Twitter. What were they talking about? Can you divulge something about what was going on in this interaction between you and David?
I mean, we were just so excited because what we did was so incredibly special because, I mean, City's been around for, I mean, since what, 08, and there's been some playoff games, but it never was christened. Citi Field has never been christened in Champaign for like a playoff berth, and now it has. And because it's a new stadium, there hasn't been that like feel where it's like it needed it. Citi Field needed it. I feel like we are creating our own history there. It's like you walk into historic ballparks, you feel the history, but it's crazy because now it's like we are the people creating that history, creating that feeling in the ballpark. And you could feel that last year. And what David and I, what we were talking about is like just on to the next. Let's do it. I'm like, I told him, it's like, listen, we beat the Dodgers, we win the World Series. Like I was that confident, and granted it didn't happen, but again, that's why we're back here again this year.
You got a new face this year, Juan Soto.
Yeah. Yeah.
David and team were a little busy in the offseason.
No doubt.
It was December 8th when the news broke. Obviously, you were still going through your free agent process, but when you saw that Juan Soto was joining the Mets, we know you've said this is where you always wanted to be. Did Juan's joining the Mets reaffirm that even further a little bit?
Well, I think Juan joining the Mets, for me, I was just like kind of like just as like shocked and jaw dropped as everyone's like, oh my God, like. Because for me, I'm just so used to playing against him. It's like, wow, I have a potential to be on the same team. Like for me, it's just I couldn't wrap my mind around it at first. But then when things kind of got serious in like contract talks and granted, like yeah, I mean Juan being back here, it's great. I mean I've said this to anybody. It's like, man, he's such a fantastic player. He's a phenomenal player. Wherever he would have gone, he would have helped them win. But by golly, I'm so happy he's with us because it seems like every time you play against him, he has a big hit, makes a big play, or does something special. And it's like, man, it's so nice just to have him on our side now. It's sick.
I think by golly is a good way of putting the reaction from Mets Nation. Now let's fast forward 5 or 6 weeks later, January 25th. We host Amazing Day at Citi Field. Unfortunately, you weren't there. You were still, on the verge of rejoining the team, but is what it is.
Yeah. Thank you, fans. Thank you, fans, for the support. Appreciate that.
So, yeah, I was going to ask you, there was a moment where the fans really voiced how they felt about wanting you in the blue and orange.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. How did that make you all feel?
Oh, it's awesome. Like to be here. I mean, obviously, being here, it's like I've had success. I've also failed, but I think over the course of time to be continuously wanted like that from Mets fans, it's just really, really special because I I lay it all out there. I work hard and do the best I can every single night. I empty the tank every single day, and whatever happens. But for me, I lay it all out there, and I just want to win, and for them to receive me and want me back like that is really special, for sure.
So then a little bit later, David Stern, Steve Cohen coming to Florida to meet with you and Scott Boras. We heard Steve Cohen. I don't know if you saw the clip where Steve Cohen said that you did all the talking, then he had to check to see if Scott was even awake because you were talking so much. What were you saying in that meeting to them that you were so passionate and taking up all the room?
It wasn't it was just talking baseball. We were talking not just about myself, but just kind of like the outlook of baseball here in Queens, like kind of the outlook. And for me, it was interesting because I've just been here, and I all of a sudden had a great opportunity fall in my lap where it's like, okay, what is our fabric? Who are we? What do we? It's like a look behind the curtain, and like whether it be strategies, your viewpoints moving forward, and not just for the near but the far future. And it was great to be able to actually have the platform to ask and then tell me. Am I going to say exactly in specifics? No. But again, like it's like having that dialogue. It's like I finally had a chance to, where it's like for me, it's like, yeah, under team control. It's like, love what you do, like, and obviously keep doing it. We appreciate it. But now it's like I have, like, asking before, for me, it wasn't like necessarily right time. But as the timing kind of unfolded and becoming a free agent, like that's where you do gather information. That's where you do like do some reflecting on all the years I've spent here. And it's like, you know what, like, and granted I've had there's some people, like whether it be front office coaches, like everyone has different opinions, but I think whatever we have here is here to stay for good for a long time. So I really wanted to pick David and Steve's brain and really have the most understanding I possibly could.
So you signed back with the Mets, and there's one thing everybody's talking about right now, and it's the franchise home run record, which you are getting closer and closer to. How much is that on your mind?
I mean, that's sick. It's such an honor. There's been some really incredible ball players that have played here over the course of time, and to be able to have the opportunity to kind of be at the top of that list. And I mean, it's special. Like that doesn't happen. And for me, I'm just really, really honored. And I mean, again, I'm not going to say I haven't done anything. We're not even at opening day yet. We're day 2 in camp. So again, just need to capitalize on pitches, stay disciplined, and hopefully hit the ball in the sweet spot, and hopefully it flies over the wall.
I've got something even sicker. Vito talks about the home run record. On July 19th, a really special day is going to be happening for this franchise. We're going to retire number 5 for David Wright.
I mean, I think it's crazy because, like, seeing David Wright on his last day in 2018, like, it's almost like they should have had the number up, like,
just ready to go.
Yeah, ready to go. Like before the game, like, numbers up. So I mean, that's, for me, that's a no-brainer. It's like took this long.
No, I mean, you're right. But
It's
I
not
was
like
gonna,
anybody's going to wear it.
I was gonna,
no one. No one.
I was going to ask something else.
Yes.
Have you ever thought about that number one day being amongst those other numbers in Mets history?
I mean, that'd be really special. But I'm not. I mean, for me, my mindset in my career right now, I'm not even close to thinking about that. I just want to play and win as many ball games as I can. But whatever, maybe like kind of towards the end, I'll start thinking about that a little bit more. But again, that'd be such a high honor. It'd be really special. But right now, because that means it's at the end. We're getting towards the end.
I'm not trying. I mean, you got plenty of story left. Trust me, I know that.
No doubt. But
I know that.
But I guess for me, it's like I'm. That would be such a high honor, for sure.
So it's one thing to hear from the fans how much they want you back, but you had this special thing where you had your teammates publicly talking about how much they wanted you back, from Jeff McNeil to Brandon Nimmo to Francisco Lindor to even Juan Soto, like your brand new teammate, all talking about how they wanted you here. What does that mean to you?
It's really special to have that respect, and not just from teammates that see me day in and day out for years, and it's like you see you see the best of people, you see the worst of people, and over the course of time, for especially guys like Jeff and I, we've been together since coming up together in 2016, 2017. So having guys continuously like be supportive and having that respect, not only from teammates, but also a competitor, like, because Juan and I, we're teammates now, but all that time we were just competitors. So to have that respect and want is really special.
So, Pete, thank you so much for sitting with us. We're really looking forward to this year watching the chase. You can follow this podcast on Apple or Spotify. I'm on Twitter at Vito F. Khaleesi. John is at JMV9191. And Pete, let's cheer on Pete all year. Let's see him break Darryl Strawberry's record, LFGM.
LFGM, hell yeah.